Hi guys, this is heyybritny and welcome back to my channel. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about microphones. So I am using a new microphone. I am using the Fifine microphone, the K688, and I've been really happy with it. And I was actually going back and forth between two different mics, so I want to talk about that in this video. Okay, so while doing this video, I do want to be clear and transparent. I am not an audio person. I have no idea what any of these numbers mean, and I also do have a hearing loss, so that also impacts how I perceive sound and what I think sounds good. And so this was definitely a good experience for me to have. I really wanted to up the quality of my content, starting with making sure that my videos look good and then also making sure that my sound is a lot better than what it used to be. So I was recording using my iPhone, and I was using the microphone from the iPhone, and I would just make changes in post-production, but I wasn't consistently and always doing that for every video. In addition, when I hear the audio when I'm editing it, I play it at a volume that I can hear, and so I'm not able to catch that, hey, this actually sounds too low, because I'm playing it loud enough for me to be able to hear it, and I assume that you can at least hear it at that level, or better than what I'm able to hear it at, because I would assume that your hearing is better than mine if you do not have a hearing loss. So what prompted this video? I did get a comment on one of my YouTube videos, and basically the part of the comment that stuck out to me was when the person said that the sound sounded muffled, and so I was not able to hear that because, again, I'm playing it at a volume where I can hear, and then because of my hearing loss, the sound quality is not really what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on whether or not it's audible. So that got me thinking about how I can adjust the sound issue and just make sure that it is actually loud enough to hear and that the sound quality is good and up to par. So let's talk about what I was looking for. So for my budget, I knew that I did not want to spend more than $100. I was initially looking at a Blue Yeti. I don't know why, but I know that that's a popular mic, and the mic itself was around $100, maybe between $100 and $115, and I was willing to spend that much, but I also knew that I wanted a certain setup. So I wanted to be able to have the mic in front of me like this mic is currently. I knew that I wanted a boom arm that could attach to my desk so I could move it around. I did not want a stand on my desk, because right now I actually have my MacBook in front of me, and if I have a microphone stand in front of me, then that means I need to move my laptop somewhere else, and it just makes it easier to have everything right in front of me. So my focus was under $100, getting a boom arm, and then making sure that it actually is a good quality microphone. As far as design, I knew I wanted a black mic, so I was not looking at a pink mic, a white mic, or anything like that. I just wanted something that could kind of disappear in the video, like you can see it, but you're not distracted by it. So black or gray was my focus for the color of the microphone that I wanted. And then I also wanted a modern design. I didn't want anything with a whole bunch of logos on it or anything like that. I really just wanted a minimalistic look to my microphone. So as you know, we are on YouTube, and I watch a lot of YouTube content. So I was looking at some of my favorite YouTubers to see what mics they were using. I did see that some people were not using any mics at all, or at least I couldn't see it. I saw that some YouTubers did have a mic visibly present in their videos. I was okay with having the mic physically present in my videos because I think it just adds to the coolness factor of it. I didn't mind having the microphone present in my videos because I know that that's more of a podcast thing, and with podcasts, people are listening to it, and so you want to make sure that the sound quality is good. And I know that people also have a video component to their podcast, so you're going to see the mic up close and all of that stuff. So I was totally fine with that. I did not mind having a mic present in my video shots, but I did want to make sure that whatever the microphone looks like, it was something that I was going to be happy with having shown in the video. So from the YouTubers that I looked at ABL, Amir Odom, obviously Candace Owens, Kale Lowry. I don't really listen to her content, but she's from Teen Mom, and I know that she's had some very successful podcast. So I was just looking at her setup to see what she had, and then obviously Tucker Carlson. And what I noticed amongst those names that I listed, they had a similar shaped microphone, and I think all of them, if not all of them, most of them were using a Shure microphone, if I'm saying that brand name correctly. So I knew that I wanted something similar. I did like the Blue Yeti design, but I did not know if I wanted the Blue Yeti, being that the price basically ate into my budget without being able to get those other items that I was talking about. I initially got the microphone from ZealSound. This was around $30 to $40 on Amazon, and it came with a boom arm. It came with 2 adapters, one for the lightning port and then also one for USB-C, and then it also had a USB to USB-C cord. So that was super helpful, very easy to set up. I did have a problem with the mount for the ZealSound. So this is what it came with, and the reason why I had an issue with this is actually it's not as bad as what I was thinking it is. Sometimes these desk mounts, they are like pill shaped versus a circle shape, and because of the way my desk is designed, I can't actually push this all the way under my desk because there's basically a stand that my desk is propped on top of. It has like a bar around the edges that blocks how far this can go, and so I need this to be a certain design so that I can at least make sure it's secure if it's not fastened properly to the desk. And so that was something that I also knew that I needed to be mindful of, but this is not as bad as what I was thinking it was, so this is totally fine. So this is the ZealSound microphone. So again, this looks like the Blue Yeti design. I actually really like the mute button that you can hear it, because I've accidentally muted this mic a few times, the Fifine mic, a few times during my last video that I recorded, and I spent 30 minutes talking, and when I went to go edit it, there was only sound for like the first 10 seconds, and then it cut off, and I don't know how I did that. Obviously, I tapped it to mute it somehow without realizing it, so I've been super paranoid about that. So I really like that the mute button is audible when you click it, because it's loud enough that I can hear it even when I'm talking, so I would know, hey, you accidentally muted, you need to fix your mic so that you can capture audio. So this is the windscreen that comes with it, and then you can see the branding over there. And then this one, because it is a microphone kit, it does come with a different piece that you can attach to the boom arm. If you get the desk stand, this part looks differently, and you have to unscrew it and attach this so that you can actually attach it to the boom arm. So I just have the windscreen up here like that, and then this is how it looks. So as far as the ZealSound microphone, I had no issues with it. It came with 2 adapters, so it just made it really easy to connect everything to my iPhone. The only problem that I had with it was the sound quality. So to me, what I noticed is that in some of the videos that I was recording as like test to see how the audio was, some of the sound was really loud, and in other videos the sound was like barely audible to me, and so I felt like maybe it was a little inconsistent in capturing the sound through the microphone. So I don't know if that's a me thing and I was just talking louder in one video, and that's why it sounded a lot louder than the other clips that I was recording to test the sound, but that bothered me. I wanted to make sure that the mic was capturing the sound, and then also I didn't know if it was an issue of me not having the microphone close enough or if it was too far away and all of that stuff. And so I definitely did a lot of testing with the ZealSound microphone just to make sure that everything was set up properly and that it was capturing sound the way I wanted it to, and then also that it was loud enough, because if it didn't make a difference compared to the mic on my iPhone, then there was no point in buying this microphone. So I used this microphone, I think, for 2 videos. I can't recall which ones exactly, but I've done maybe 5 videos in the past month or so. I think I used this microphone for the South Park episode that I did and the Shooter episode that I did, and then the Kenny and Janae video, that would have been this microphone, and then the Sydney Sweeney episode, that would have been this microphone as well. So you can look at those videos and see if you like how the sound and just let me know what you think about it. So the ZealSound, I was definitely happy with that from my hearing level, because the audio was noticeably higher than my iPhone microphone. I noticed that more so in production, because I was not editing my videos using the auto feature in iMovie. So when you go to the sound, you can have it auto change to sound and make changes to enhance it. I was not doing that. I was just turning the volume up, and I think it's actually a lot better to use the auto setting, because that will more smoothly fix all of the sound issues, if any, in my videos. I was really happy that I started to do that, because normally what I've noticed is that when I'm editing my sound in iMovie, the sound bars, like the little waves that you see for the audio, that was super low. And so sometimes I would adjust it a little bit just to make it a little bit louder. But again, I was already turning the volume up really high on my laptop to make sure that I could hear the sound. And I assumed that if I could hear it, you guys could at least hear it too. So yeah, but it wasn't until I played one of my videos on speakerphone and I could hear how far away I sounded from the mic, but when I was playing it through my hearing aids are Bluetooth, so the sound goes directly to my hearing aid. It just sounded like a normal sound to me. It didn't sound muffled or far away, and so that was a good eye-opening experience. I'm very grateful and thankful to that person who left that comment, because otherwise I wouldn't have really thought about it. I would have just thought that the sound was fine in my videos. So let me talk about the ZealSound microphone a little bit more. So this was a condenser microphone, and with it being a condenser microphone, it's actually going to pick up sound all around basically, so you can hear like my dog's barking, someone talking in the hallway. I think in one of the videos I was filming, it was Friday, so it was trash day, and you can hear the trash truck driving by, so it picks up a lot of sound. And that was not an issue for me because I was hearing that anyway when I was filming just using my iPhone microphone, but I know that for some people that can be distracting. And iMovie does have a setting where you can reduce the background noise. I don't know if you guys recall, but in some of my videos, you can hear like this thumping sound. And I think it's something connected to my pipes. And I've always been conscious of that and trying to reduce how that sounds volume-wise in my videos, but I haven't been able to successfully eliminate it. So that's super annoying, but that is something that I was mindful of. And for me, I did not mind having a condenser microphone because to me, it sounded loud enough. And then the background noise, it was always present in my videos anyway, so that didn't really bother me too much. But I kept looking on YouTube to see what people were saying about different microphones. This microphone, the ZealSound microphone, this did have like 6.4 reviews on Amazon, and I think it was 4.5 stars. So a lot of people are buying this microphone and people are singing into it. And I was doing testing with singing just to see how it captures my sound, because I am using a lav mic to record my song cover videos, because I know that the microphone for my iPhone is horrible for that. So with those videos, I was using a lav mic, but for my normal video, I was using my iPhone microphone just because I did not want to use a lav mic for those videos. And then also I didn't like being corded to my phone, so that would restrict my movements and all of that stuff. And so I did look at getting a wireless lav microphone, but it was too bulky and I didn't like the way that it was going to sit on my shirt, and then it was just going to ruin my look and all of that stuff. So I was not happy with how that mic looked when it actually came. It was just too bulky and too heavy, and so I just didn't want to deal with that. And that's why I wanted to get this set up with a boom arm and then a microphone right in front of me that I don't really have to hold or worry about, and I can just move around freely how I want. Alrighty, so now let's move on to the Fifine microphone. So from the videos that I've seen on YouTube, I've seen a lot of people talking about how you pronounce the brand name. So obviously, if you're looking at the writing, it looks like Fifine, but I guess it's Fifine. So that's what I'll be saying in this video. And what got me into this microphone is I was happy with the ZealSound microphone, but I really wanted to see what else was out there that was in my budget range that may be a little bit better than the ZealSound microphone. So again, I'm looking at the Amazon rating, about 4.5 stars, 6.4 reviews and all of that stuff. And I was looking at other microphones. This was one of them. And then there was another one that I was looking at, but this is really the second one that I was eyeing. And a lot of people were talking about how this was similar to one of the Shure microphones. I think it's the MV7 or M7V, something like that. And basically people were saying that the sound quality was very good for the price, and it sounded like a Shure microphone. And it also looks like a Shure microphone, so I was happy about that. And I literally ordered this microphone the day after I got the ZealSound microphone because I really wanted the opportunity to use these microphones in my videos and actually test and see how the sound was, and maybe get some feedback from you guys if you guys like it. So I've been happy with this microphone so far. I've been having to work with figuring out how to angle it and position it. People said that you want to talk into the top of it. They also said that you want to maybe angle it towards your mouth a little bit. So I've been playing around with the setup, but my main thing is making sure that it captures the texture sound that I can use when I'm editing my videos and really enhance that if needed. But I've been really happy with this microphone. So now let's talk about one thing that I do not like, and I already mentioned that earlier. I do not like the tap to mute feature because it's very easy to hit that button and not know that you are not capturing sound through the microphone, because I'm sure you've seen me a few times kind of like look down to see and make sure that it's green. So that's super annoying. And I'm sure I can re-angle the microphone so that I can see that a little bit more and just make sure that the sound is actually on. But that's something that I'm going to be super mindful of, because I do not want to do another video. The video that I recorded last night on the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle debacle, I recorded 3 takes of that because one take I didn't really like my notes. The second take I liked it a little bit better, and then I realized the sound issues, and then I had to do the 3rd take. So that was super annoying. I don't want to waste my time like that, so I want to make sure that I know that the mic is on and working and all that good stuff. The other thing that I do not like about the Fifine microphone, so I did get the microphone kit, so this came with a boom arm. I do think that the boom arm is a better quality than the one that came with the ZealSound microphone, because with the boom arm for the ZealSound microphone, there's this little piece here that I found super annoying. So oh, I can't see it. Oh, it was this piece that was annoying. So this piece that you screw off, so you are supposed to unscrew this. I did not read the instructions, by the way. I saw a YouTube video of someone putting it together. I'm really bad about reading instructions. I'll just kind of like trial and error and try to figure out how to do it, and then eventually if I need to, I'll look at the instructions. So just keep that in mind. So this is supposed to go in like this, and then you are supposed to screw this in to secure it. And you only get like 2 or 3 turns, and then you can't really turn anymore. So I didn't feel like that was super secure, and I feel like this part of it moved a lot more, and I couldn't tell if this was just moving or if this part was moving on my desk because of what I was saying about how I can't actually get the desk all the way back. So it's probably like right about here fastened to my desk, and so I didn't know if this was moving or if it was just that part moving. But this annoyed me because I didn't feel like it did enough rotation to secure the boom arm into that slot. And so that is something that I noticed right away with the difference in the boom arm. And then also the other thing that I noticed with the Fifine microphone is that it did not come with the adapters that I was expecting. So the ZealSound microphone came with a USB-C I guess, to USB-C and USB to USB Lightning, because I'm recording on an iPhone 11 Pro Max, which has the Lightning port, so I need that adapter. Like, that's my main camera or phone that I use to record my videos. I do have an iPhone 16 Pro Max that uses a USB-C port, but I'm not really going to record my videos with that phone just because I don't want to mess up the battery and stuff like that, because this one is constantly plugged into stuff and it's my second phone that I'm not really using, so I don't really care about what happens to this. I want to obviously make sure that it's in good condition so I can record my videos, but that phone is dedicated to recording my YouTube videos. And so I was disappointed because my focus with the ZealSound microphone, if I was going to keep that one, I saw that some people were saying that the adapters were not as reliable or good quality. So I knew that I wanted to replace that just to make sure I did not have any audio issues while recording my videos. And then I was super annoyed because once I got the Fifine microphone, I realized that they didn't have the adapters that I needed, so I would need to buy them anyway. And so it was a little bit of a struggle for me to figure out which adapters I needed, because I needed ones that were OTG so that it would capture it would actually charge the phone or whatever, power the phone, and then also that it would transfer data. So that was something that I had to keep in mind. And I did find one brand that I'm using currently, so hopefully everything works out well with that. I have noticed some issues with me plugging it into my iPhone. My microphone, where it turns green to indicate that the mic is on, it doesn't always display that green light when I plug it into my iPhone. So I do have to do it a few times just to make sure that it's actually green. But aside from that, there's been no real issues. I like that the cord that comes with Fifine is much longer. It does get in the way, but if my camera were to be further away, I know that I would still be able to use my current setup just because the cord is long enough and I wouldn't have to go out and replace it. So one thing I want to talk about with this Fifine microphone, so this is a dynamic microphone. So what that means is that the sound is coming really from the top where I'm speaking through. You don't really capture the sound as well from the sides, and then it blocks it out from the sides and the back, which is really good. So you're only getting the sound from one direction. So ideally it should block out background noise. And so this is what people are really saying that you should use if you have an untreated room. I'm filming in my bedroom. It's carpeted. I have the door closed behind me. I have curtains on my windows and all of that stuff. And so this is not a treated room, but it's just a standard room, and so a dynamic microphone does make sense. And I think that people are saying that a dynamic microphone and the Fifine microphone would be a better choice for recording YouTube videos or podcast videos and that sort of thing. I also, because I mentioned earlier that I do have a hearing loss and what I'm focused on is sound volume versus sound quality, I did have my sister and my dad listen to me doing a bunch of testing with the microphone so that they could see which ones they liked, because obviously they do not have a hearing loss. Their ears work perfectly fine, so they would be able to pick up on things that I was missing just because I don't have that audio range to be able to pinpoint the things that they were noticing. So I played a video with me speaking through the ZealSound microphone. I had the mic at different distances, so close up, further away, and then talking through the mic at different angles, that sort of thing. And then I also changed the sound of my voice, so I spoke really loud, spoke really softly, that sort of thing. And I did that for both microphones, and then I played the ZealSound first for my sister, and then I played the Fifine, and she said that she thought that the Fifine microphone smoothed out my voice a little bit more than the ZealSound microphone, which I found interesting because I don't really know what that means, but I think she was just saying that she could tell that there was some filtering going on with the microphone, and that I guess it was cleaning up my voice when I talk, and she liked the way that this microphone sounded a lot better than the ZealSound. And then what I was pointing out to her was that because I perceive the ZealSound microphone as being louder, when I heard the recording of myself on this microphone, I thought my voice was much softer, and we couldn't tell if it was because I wasn't talking as loudly from video to video, or if this was really just kind of muting my voice and smoothing it out like she thought. And so I was concerned about that because I wanted to make sure that it was loud enough and clear enough that it was capturing my voice. I can still make changes in iMovie, but I wanted to make sure that I eliminated the amount of work I needed to do by having a good quality microphone. I also had my dad do the same test basically, and he also said that he liked the sound of the Fifine microphone better. It just sounded smoother, more polished, that sort of thing. And so this seems to be the clear winner amongst my family members. I hope this video was super helpful. Again, I know nothing about audio and this sort of technology, but I did do my due diligence to look at reviews on Amazon and also watch YouTube videos of people talking about the microphone. I did see a lot of videos where people were just kind of like, hey, they sent me the microphone and this is me just doing a review on the microphone. It was really short. It didn't really go into the things that I thought were important to me in buying a microphone. So that was super helpful just to have that starting point and all of that information. So those videos were super helpful. I also like that they did sound tests with the different microphones that they had for the YouTubers that I watched, but it was difficult for me to really tell the difference between the microphones, again, because of my hearing loss. So it was helpful to see, okay, these are 4 different mics that are being tested. These are what people are saying about these 4 different mics, because I was really relying on that feedback and the comment section to help me figure out what mic I should actually get and which mic I should keep, because I do want to make sure that the audio is good in my videos. Okay, so I realized that I was not showing you guys the Fifine microphone. So right now I'm talking through the ZealSound microphone, and we do not have the Fifine microphone plugged in. So this is how it looks out of the box. You can see it has like the shock mount and the shock bracket, and this is really supposed to help with that vibration when you're moving the microphone around and you're hitting it. Also, I don't have a stand to put this microphone in, so I'm just holding it because it does not actually fit on the, let me see if it fits. Holding this ZealSound microphone because it does not fit on the boom arm that came with the Fifine microphone. So I don't want to switch that out. So I'm just going to hold it. But again, this is the Fifine microphone. A lot of people are saying that the gray filter is for the new model, but they prefer the black one. I would prefer a black one too, but I'm okay with the gray one for now. And then this is the XLR port, the USB port, and then I did see one video where someone was talking about how the mic volume and the headphone volume was right next to the headphone jack. So the headphone jack, it is next to the volume for the microphone, and someone was saying that that should be switched around so that the headset volume was next to the headphone port. And I think that makes sense too, but for me, I'm not really using that feature, so I don't really care too much about that. I do have a pair of Beats headphones, and I did have to buy a cord so I could plug it in because I lost the one that came with it, but I was not able to hear sound through the microphone, and that would be really difficult for me anyway. So that's the only thing that I'm bummed about, because as I mentioned, I was really concerned with whether or not the microphone was capturing sound during my videos. So I really wanted to make sure that the mic was set up properly, basically. And so right now I'm not able to test it through the headphone, and I don't know how that would sound to me anyway, because that's not something that I normally do. Like, it feels really weird to be able to hear myself while I'm talking, if that makes sense. And so I would have to get used to that and just figure out my setup with my Beats Studios headphones, because I can't use regular plug-in earbuds because I have to take my hearing aids out for that, and then I can't hear as loudly as I would be able to hear with my hearing aids on, so that's not going to work. So I have to use over-the-ear headphones that allow me to keep my hearing aids on. So that's something else that most people probably do not have to deal with, and so that's why I have to rely on doing little quick tests before I'm recording to make sure that the sound sounds good, making sure that that mute button is not tapped off and all of that stuff, and so, or tapped on, whatever. So yeah. I really like the Fifine microphone, and I'm not sure if you guys are hearing audio differences between me using the two different mics. So hopefully, if you guys are at this portion of the video, you can comment on how you think the sound is between the two microphones. So again, we have the Fifine microphone and the ZealSound microphone. Okay, so now we are back on the Fifine microphone. So all of this was easy to switch between mics. I just had to take the Fifine mic off the boom arm and then just plug in the cord from the Fifine microphone into the ZealSound, and we were able to use two different mics in this video. So yeah, it was super helpful to have two different mics to play around and test with, so that I could figure out which one I wanted to keep and which would really help me enhance the sound in my YouTube videos, because I really do want to improve my content. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this video. Again, let me know what you think about these two microphones down below, and if you do notice a sound difference in my videos, please definitely let me know that as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.